So with that going, and then without further ado, I'll hand it over to our president and founder, Matt Jacobson.
All right. G'day. So we're all ready to go. Good to start.
We are.
All right. Thanks. Hi, everyone. How you doing? Hope everyone's great. My name's Matt, and I'm the founder of Ducere Global Business School, and I'm excited to talk to you guys today about the Bachelor of Applied Business with Torrens University. So I'm just going to get myself set up here with a share screen. So hold on while I do that, and then we are good to go. So just let me know if you can see that okay. Is that sharing now?
It is, yes.
Okay, great. So we can get started.
Yep.
All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Bachelor of Applied Business webinar. I'm going to take you guys through this fairly quickly in terms of an interactive presentation of exactly what's covered in the Bachelor of Applied Business and the various options. And then, of course, any questions you're free to ask in this webinar. Or if you want to speak directly to your enrollment advisor, they'll be more than happy to chat after the webinar about any other items that you want to go through. So a little bit about Ducere. We're a global university group. Just this webinar alone, we have participants from our office in Melbourne and Brisbane. I'm running this webinar from Los Angeles in California. We've got Bill, who's our global head of marketing on the East Coast of the US. And one of the great and exciting things, I think, straight off about Ducere is that we do operate across the world. And when you're doing a degree with us and Torrens University, your academics, your student support will be all over the world. But I think more important is the vision here in the middle. And the vision of what we're creating here is to design and deliver the world's most industry-applied university degrees that advance students' careers. And this is really at the heart and the most important thing that we do and drives everything that we do within Ducere Global Business School. Many of you probably have heard or have even experienced yourself the kind of general comments about university education being very academic, being very theoretical. Yes, you get a degree, which is really important for jobs, and it's really good to have on your resume. But, you know, you're sitting in a lecture room and you're learning out of a textbook stuff that doesn't really help you with your career. That is the generalization of most academic institutions. And so we set out over a decade ago to create the world's most career-relevant industry-applied university. The reasons, and I'll talk a little bit more about the applied nature of the degrees. Why would you do a degree, though? That's a really valid question. It's a bit of work, obviously, and effort. So why bother? Why do a degree? Well, there's really, really strong ROI reasons to do a degree. There's research from all over the world, from Australia, from Australian government, from the US, from all over the world, that shows benchmarks of earning potential when you have a degree versus no degree. So if nothing else, this is a financial return on investment where you'll earn significantly more income. One article out of the Sydney Morning Herald said that the average lifetime earnings of a university graduate are $1.1 million higher than someone without a university degree. So very strong reasons, but not just the money. It also opens up access to better and higher quality jobs. Many jobs today won't even look at a candidate unless they have a university degree. So very, very strong reasons to do a degree. So what is the structure of our applied university degrees? Essentially, they're 24 subjects, as are all Australian bachelor degrees in this space. But what's less common is that we're very flexible. You can have this done over 2 years as an accelerated degree. You can complete the entire degree within 2 years because we run 3 semesters a year. So you do the same number of subjects per semester, but 3 semesters instead of 2. You can take as long as 4 years, so part-time and really stretching that out. And of course, average in the middle would be 3 years. So you've got a lot of flexibility in how long you can take to do the degree. And there's actually 3 different applied business options. There's a Bachelor of Applied Entrepreneurship, a Bachelor of Applied Business Management, and a Bachelor of Applied Business Marketing. So 3 streams. There's a lot of similarity. Many of the core subjects will be similar, but then you have specializations across each of those areas, depending on whether you're more interested in management, entrepreneurship, or marketing. This image on the side here of LinkedIn is really cool, because one of the things that's great is you don't wait 3 years to graduate and then put this on your LinkedIn profile. As soon as you're enrolled and accepted and start the program, you add the university bachelor's degree, class of however long you're planning to do the course. So it might be class of 2026, for example. So you're not pretending that you've completed the degree, of course, but you're saying that you're a candidate in the degree. But what really is important is that most people just see on your profile university bachelor's. That's really what they take away. So I just want to come back to what I mentioned before as being the most career-focused industry applied degree. What does that really mean? How are we the most career-focused? How are we unlike most traditional universities that are very academic and very theoretical? So there's a couple of key concepts. One is a concept of, to be the best, you need to learn from the best. In this online curriculum, you're learning from hundreds of real-world leaders, presidents, prime ministers, Nobel Prize winners, billionaires, entrepreneurs. In Australia alone, there's 5 former prime ministers, but we also have heads of state from Malaysia, Africa, Canada, all over the world. Heads of the CIA, heads of the UN, founder of Atari, founder of Sony Foundation, just the most incredible, successful people in the world. So we believe that's really important, that you're learning from the most amazing people in a very engaging, interactive online program. The learning system itself is the fastest growing learning platform in the world. Very flexible, very intuitive, very easy to use, but it's also fun and engaging and very dynamic and very colorful and lots of videos. So that's great as well. So the system is very flexible, 24/7. You can go in and study whenever it suits you. There is absolutely no requirement to attend any live classes, but there are lots of live classes that you can attend. So you got the option to engage with other students and academics and coaches. But if you're, say, working full-time and you can't attend, everything's recorded and you can go in at your own time. So you've got full flexibility. Because our programs are so tailored and so applied, we work with many of the largest organizations in the world. And this leads to the second critical element of how our programs are the most career relevant. So I mentioned learning from world leaders is one. The second is that our assessments are all applied, tailored assessments. So there's no generic assessments and there's no exams in the entire degree. You can actually do all your assignments on the company that you're working for. But even if you're not working, you can do your assignments on a company that you want to work for, that you're passionate about. So say you were really interested in a career in digital marketing. You can do all your assignments on TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. And so not only are you learning, but when you're applying for jobs and you talk about your degree, you can actually show assignments and projects that you've done through your whole degree on that industry. Someone else might be interested in working in fintech. All of their assignments would be on the financial services sector, new technologies, new startups in the finance sector. So it really, really focuses on what you're interested in. But what you're not doing is the exact opposite. Again, in a traditional university, if your passion is digital marketing, and here you can do all your assignments on digital marketing, in a traditional university, you might be told, okay, this week you've got to write a 5,000 word paper on an oil company and some merger that they did decades ago. You might not be interested in the oil industry at all. You might not be interested in the area of mergers, but kind of tough luck. Your professor says that's what you need to do your assignment on. Here, it's what we call tailored enterprise degrees. It's tailored to you as a student. What is your career passion? What are the areas you want to work on? And working on assignments in that space. So Ducere, we design and deliver the degree, and it's fully accredited by Torrens University. So many of you would have heard of Torrens University. Some of you maybe not. Some fantastic things. It's the fastest growing university in Australia. It's the world's largest B corporation, which is really amazing for us. We're a social enterprise. Torrens is a B corporation, which means it is there for community and for good. It has campuses all over Australia. And so you've got the ability to study fully online, but also be able to graduate on campus and have that campus experience as well. On our side for Ducere, we've won awards from all over the world, media from all over the world, as a recognized leader in career relevant university degrees. There's many universities all over the world where you can get a nice piece of paper that you can hang on your wall. Here you'll also get a nice piece of paper with a bachelor's that you hang on your wall, but the added benefit of really practical applied learning that's going to actually help in your career and your career progression. A couple of practical elements. We want to be really flexible. Our mission is to help everyone that wants a degree to be able to get a degree. So there's multiple entry options. I would definitely recommend speaking to your enrollment advisor if you're unsure. But no matter what your circumstance is, certainly speak to your enrollment advisor, because we've got lots of options. Some people never finished high school and think a degree is not for them. There's still various ways based on your real work experience, or potentially having done a TAFE or vocational qualification. There's various pathways into a degree that our enrollment advisors would be really happy to chat with you about. So many reasons to do a Torrens University Ducere bachelor's, but a couple of things that just to quickly highlight: no exams, which is great for most of our students. No one really likes doing exams. And ironically, exams have been shown in research by universities to be the least effective way to actually learn knowledge and information. But universities still use them because it's what they've always done, and they just continue to do them, even though they're not a quality mechanism for actually teaching skills. And as I mentioned, learning from hundreds of world leaders, but also the fact that you've got full fee help available, and that the programs are tailored to your individual career. So here you're really making an investment in your career and setting yourself up for career success. This quote here, I love this quote from Stephen Parker, who's the National Education Sector Leader for KPMG, saying this is undoubtedly the most original course for managers of our future. It is a game changer. That's pretty cool for someone in a global services firm like KPMG. But what's even more cool is that Stephen was the head of one of the universities in Australia himself. He ran one of Australia's universities for many years, and recognises that this is the most practical career-focused university program. I mentioned that fee help is available. There's various financial and support mechanisms that we have. We also have some significant scholarship opportunities right now. So again, would highly recommend that you speak to your enrollment advisor about scholarships that are available as well. Really not much to do with the degree here, but I think really nice to know is that as a social enterprise, we have the Ducere Foundation. So your education is actually helping others to achieve an education as well. We deliver education in 27 countries across Africa. So we are all across the continent and doing amazing work on the ground in Africa, which is really exciting. And can you see yourself as an MBA candidate? So I'm not going to play this for very long, but I'll just show you a short video for a few seconds on a few students. But again, your enrollment advisor can send this full presentation, and you can watch the video there'll be industry leaders talking about the value of practical education, student testimonials. I'll just play that for a moment so you kind of get an idea of what it's like.
The market out there when looking for a job is quite competitive, and by having something like this under your belt, it will support that career progression.
A colleague of mine told me, hey, have you heard of this?
So you kind of get the idea there, but as I say, mainly around just showing you what's available so that you can speak to your enrollment advisors there. And if you want the full presentation and the links and the videos and the testimonials, that can all be sent out as well. So we do normally try to keep these presentations pretty short. We do mention that they're 30-minute webinar presentations. We don't want to keep people too long. So hopefully I've done the presentation in the 20 minutes or so that we normally allocate. So we do have about 10 minutes as well for Q&A. So please, if anyone's got any questions, feel free. And happy to answer any questions, or any other people on our team would be happy to answer some questions as well.
Thanks, Matt. We do have some questions. So for the people that have not asked any questions, the Q&A is open. So if you have any questions that you want Matt to answer, we'll start with the first few. First question, Matt, is what happens if I need to delay my start?
If you need to delay your start, okay, that's a good question. So firstly, you can pretty much enroll anytime. We have multiple intakes a year, and you can enroll into any intake at any time. But I did mention that there's significant scholarships available at the moment. So it would definitely be worthwhile chatting to an enrollment advisor about the scholarships that are on offer, because that could be a deciding factor. And the other thing is, once you get into the course and you get a scholarship, so let's say you're not really ready to start full-time, maybe you want to start beginning of next year, but you also don't want to miss out on a significant scholarship. Once you're enrolled and you have that scholarship locked in, you have that. So even if you took only one class, one subject for this year, for the final term, and then took on a higher workload next year, that's a way of getting the scholarship in for 2023. And normally there's price increases every calendar year. So I would definitely recommend looking at some smart ways of maybe technically getting into the course and starting on a really low starting point, and then working your way up, unless you're sure that this is the right program for you and you're just really excited and keen to get started. You can just start as a full-time student.
Fantastic. We got a great question here. Can I build a social enterprise doing this degree? Are the trainers experienced in social enterprise models and structures?
Well, that's a pretty good question. And yes is the simple answer, because we ourselves are a social enterprise. And we also have partnerships and collaborations with many NGOs and many social enterprises in Australia and all over the world. But practically speaking, your entire degree, you could be doing a bachelor's of entrepreneurship, and all of your assignments are actually building your own social enterprise, doing your business plan, doing your funding strategy on your own social enterprise. So you're actually doing a degree and creating the building blocks for your entire social enterprise, or commercial enterprise as well, if someone has a commercial enterprise they wanted to start.
Fantastic. All right, Matt, I'm going to give you a three-part question here to challenge you, but they're all kind of similar. So here are the three questions. Question one is, am I able to still work full-time and study at the same time? So that's question one. What's a similar question is, can I change from full-time to part-time if needed halfway through the course? And the third question that's very similar too, if I want to take a break in one term to travel, is that an option?
Okay, great questions. So the first question around full-time work, I would say that the vast majority of our students globally are full-time working. So that is what we're typically used to. the minority of our students are not employed full-time. So you don't have to be employed full-time, but we certainly cater for full-time employment, and that would be the typical student doing one of our online degrees. So that means that everything is catered to operate in a way where you're doing your studies around your full-time work, and you can access your studies when you want, work on projects relevant to your full-time work. So it's absolutely designed and catered for full-time work. We work with many corporations. We work with Qantas, Disney, LinkedIn, Aston Martin, the UN, PricewaterhouseCoopers, many companies, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Save the Children. And so when they're putting staff through a degree, they're obviously thinking that those staff are going to keep working full-time and do their degree alongside that. And the fact that this course is embedded within the degree makes it just much more practical to do as a full-time employee. In terms of study load, full-time or part-time really just means how many subjects you're selecting any term. And you can change that actually every term. There's no formal change that you need to make in terms of your status as a student. It just might be that 3 subjects is a full-time study load. And the next term you might think, oh, you know what, I've just changed jobs, I've just moved houses. I feel like it's going to be a little bit too much to have a full-time study load. I might drop it down to 2 subjects. So you can go up and down every term, and it's not any major thing to do. It's just really the number of subjects you're selecting. So it's really easy to do that. And then the last question was travel, and can you defer? So yes is the answer. You can defer a semester. You can even defer for a year if you wanted to. So you've got quite a long time to complete your degree from the time you start, and you can fully defer. But again, because this is such a flexible degree and it's online, your degree goes with you wherever you go. If you're traveling and backpacking through Europe and you got your laptop, instead of sitting on a train for 3 hours between Spain and Paris and just kind of, I don't know, listening to a podcast, you can actually be on your laptop and studying away and getting one of your assignments done. So you can travel without the need to defer, but of course, if you want to defer, you can too.
Perfect. We got a few more questions coming in, which is great. Thanks, everyone. Another question is, do we have accessibility options for students with disabilities?
Yes, so there are accessibility options, but it depends on what accessibility and additional support you need. And I would definitely recommend speaking to your enrollment advisor. What I can tell you, which is phenomenal to me, I still can't believe it, but we have had a fully blind student completing an online degree through us. And it's like, how do you do an online degree if you're fully blind? But everything is compatible with Braille readers and audio compatibility, etc. And so, you know, we do really try to go out of our way to support whatever the particular needs are. There's a lot of support and various things that we try to do around mental health as well. So one of the things we do in our orientation, we actually have a program that we built with Goldie Hawn around mental health and preparing yourself for studies and work, because we want to make sure that everyone succeeds and providing whatever support services we can for that.
Perfect. And then a follow-up question with that was, can we still access Torrens student resources like the Student Hub?
Yes, you can access various student resources, because legally and technically, you're a student of Torrens University. So if you actually wanted to go into a campus and access a library and things like that, you can. That happens very rarely, because we don't actually require students to access anything additional from what we provide them. When we provide students with the learning management system, we ensure that they have everything they need to succeed. But having said that, yes, there are resources that you can access.
Fantastic. Next question is, are the tailored assignments in groups or individual assignments?
They're individual assignments.
Fantastic. And then with the learning, are the global leaders live or recorded?
So they're all recorded. So they're case studies that are pre-recorded around topics that they're expert in. So for example, you've got the former head of the CIA talking about strategic negotiations when you're learning how to negotiate effectively in business. Julia Gillard talking about gender equity and gender diversity in the workplace. So you've got these incredible world leaders talking about topics that are really relevant to the area that you're going to be learning. In addition to the videos and materials, we also have often live webinars with world leaders that we've run where you can actually access and interact, and there's an opportunity for students to do a Q&A and ask questions, which is really nice as well.
Fantastic. I think we have one question left since we're already about to reach the 30-minute mark. So I think it's a great question to end on. How many students has Ducere graduated? What's the alumni network like?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I think there's two parts to that are really important. One is the number, but another is the diversity. So the number is, we're talking about a couple of thousand Ducere students globally. So you've got a pretty large, sophisticated network. But I think even more important than the number is that we've always focused on gender balance within our programs. We do a lot of work in diversity and equity, so various minorities access to higher education. We have students from Coast Guard and National Guard in the US to Make-A-Wish Foundation in Australia, to the Department of Education in Canberra, to Westpac Bank. Just such an incredible diversity, but also students from South Africa to Nigeria to France, Canada. And what's really exciting is that you just have this really diverse, rich global network and alumni.
Fantastic. That is it. Thanks everyone for the feedback. We're getting a few comments on the webinar. So we're so excited to have you on board with the Torrens Bachelor. Thanks for joining, and I'm glad you guys got to meet our president and founder. And this was recorded, so I'll send this out tomorrow. And we'll see you in class. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. See you later.